Free agency has slowed down, summer league tips off in just a couple of days, and to most fans, it feels like the offseason is basically over, but I don't think Leon Rose agrees, because if you really look at this roster, there are still 2 open roster spots, there are still veteran free agents available, and there are still important evaluations that need to happen. And I honestly believe the Knicks' repeat championship blueprint is not finished yet, not because they're chasing another superstar, not because they're trying to win the offseason, but because championship teams do not stop building after they win. They start building for the next one. So today I want to explain why I think Leon Rose is still working heavily, why Jordan Clarkson could quietly remain one of the Knicks' biggest priorities, why Summer League is far more important than people realize, and how all of this fits into one championship blueprint. One thing Leon Rose has proved over the last several years is that he does not operate like most NBA executives, because most front offices chase headlines, but Leon Rose chases fit. Just look back at every major move he's made so far. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and then just recently Jose Alvarado, and now Andre Drummond. None of those moves were about winning Twitter. They were about building a team that could survive 4 playoff rounds. And eventually that blueprint delivered a championship. That's why I don't think these last 2 roster spots are random. I think every decision from this point forward is about one thing: protecting what already works, because repeating in today's NBA is arguably harder than winning the first championship. The league makes counter moves and adjusts, opponents improve, every weakness gets exposed, and Leon Rose knows that better than anyone. Let's start with Jordan Clarkson. I know some fans immediately think about points, 3-pointers, instant offense, but I think that's missing the biggest reason the Knicks could want him back. Mohamed Diawara recently revealed something incredibly interesting in an interview. After the Knicks fell behind 2-1 against Atlanta, the voices inside the locker room were not just Brunson or the rest of the starting lineup. Diawara specifically mentioned Jordan Clarkson. Especially him. Think about that. Clarkson was not the superstar, he was not playing huge minutes every night, but younger players viewed him as one of the emotional leaders of the team, and honestly that makes perfect sense, because Clarkson completely reinvented himself this season. Throughout most of his NBA career, he built his reputation as a microwave scorer off the bench, but this year he sacrificed those touches, accepted inconsistent minutes, played better defense, rebounded harder, and bought completely into Mike Brown's system. Those are the exact types of veterans that championship teams fight to keep, not because of their box score, but because of everything that happens behind the scenes. Sometimes the most valuable players never lead the team in scoring, but instead they lead the locker room. Now let's talk about center. Yes, Andre Drummond gives the Knicks an experienced rebounder, he gives them toughness, he gives Mike Brown another veteran who understands his role, but does that necessarily mean Leon Rose is finished making moves? I'm still not convinced at that, because there are still experienced bigs available around the league, and we do need a third-string center as well. And the biggest name that, according to multiple reports, the Knicks are monitoring is Jonas Valanciunas, if the situation in Denver eventually changes soon. Nothing is guaranteed, nothing is official, but if a veteran center becomes available who strengthens the rotation and the bench without disrupting the chemistry, that's exactly the type of move that Leon Rose has made all the time. Notice the pattern. It's not flashy, it's not desperate, it's just smart, because every championship team eventually realizes something: depth wins playoff series, not headlines. We do not need any part of LeBron James or DeMar DeRozan on this team just to disrupt the chemistry. But here's the part that I think many fans overlook, and that is Summer League. Because most people see Summer League as meaningless basketball, Leon Rose probably sees it as one of the most important weeks of the offseason, because this year, Summer League is not about Tyler Kolek anymore. He already graduated that area. The real question is, who becomes the next Tyler Kolek? The biggest storyline starts with Mohamed Diawara clearly. The Knicks did not hand him a multi-year contract just because they liked his potential. They clearly believe he is part of their short and long-term future. Now, they do want to see whether he can handle being one of the featured players instead of simply fitting into a role this coming season. And then there's also Pacôme Dadiet. This may honestly be the biggest summer league of his career. The talent has always been there. Now the consistency has to follow. So if Dadiet takes a major step in this summer league and shows major promise, the Knicks suddenly have another athletic wing developing behind one of the deepest rosters in basketball. Then you have Tyler Nickel, one of the newest additions, an incoming rookie. Everyone knows he can shoot the lights out of the ball. Now comes the difficult part. Can he prove that shooting translates against NBA athletes? Championship organizations survive because young players eventually become inexpensive rotation pieces, and that's exactly what the Knicks will be looking for over these next few games. Now, when I step back and look at everything Leon Rose has done so far, I do not see separate moves. I see one major blueprint: and bring back veterans who understand winning, develop inexpensive expensive young talent, protect future flexibility, never panic, never overreact, never sacrifice long-term success for short-term excitement. That's exactly how dynasties are built, not through one massive move, through dozens of smart decisions. Most fans remember the trades, the signings, the championships, but front offices remember the details, the locker room leaders, the developmental projects, the culture. Those things do not make headlines, but they absolutely do win championships. So here's my prediction. I don't think Leon Rose is finished. He's certainly not, because there's 2 roster spots to fill, and I think those 2 will be filled by veterans. And Jordan Clarkson still feels like one of the strongest possibilities as the 13th man soon, so stay tuned for that. And then a third-string center like Valanciunas or like a Nick Richards, for example, will be the 14th man. And then for the two-way contracts, I definitely think Tyler Nickel will be one of the 3. So yes, the championship parade may be over, but the blueprint continues throughout the entire summer. Every veteran, every young player, every roster spot, and every decision, it all serves one major purpose: keeping this championship window open for as long as possible. Because winning one title is special in itself, but building something that lasts for multiple years is even harder. And based on everything we've seen over the last few years, I would not bet against Leon Rose figuring it out again. And if you enjoyed today's breakdown, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to the most in Summer League, and which final move do you want Leon Rose to make before training camp begins? It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.